The Great Mona Lisa Heist, Art Theft of the Century. It was August 21st, 1911, a stifling summer evening in Paris. For weeks, a record-breaking heat wave had been suffocating the city, leaving the normally bustling streets deserted and the grand halls of the Louvre Museum eerily quiet. As Parisians sought refuge from the oppressive heat, the conditions were perfect for what would become the most audacious art heist in history. While the city slept, one man prepared to steal the unthinkable: Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, the Mona Lisa. As Sunday evening fell and the last visitors trickled out of the museum, a man slipped into the Louvre dressed in the institution's distinctive white uniform. Blending seamlessly among the staff, he found his way to a small maintenance closet where he would wait in darkness for the perfect moment to strike. This timing was calculated with precision. Mondays were the Louvre's scheduled closure day, meaning minimal security personnel would be patrolling the vast corridors and exhibition halls. The museum's protocols, which today would seem shockingly lax, played perfectly into the thief's hands. At precisely 7:15 a.m. on Monday morning, the thief emerged from his hiding place. The Louvre stood nearly empty, with only a handful of maintenance workers and photographers present. Moving quickly through the silent galleries, he made his way to the Salon Care, where the Mona Lisa hung. Unlike today, where the painting has its own bulletproof enclosure and dedicated room visited by millions each year, in 1911 the Mona Lisa was simply one among many paintings in the gallery. Though valued by art historians, it hadn't yet achieved its current status as perhaps the world's most famous painting. Ironically, the theft itself would contribute significantly to the artwork's mythic status. With nobody watching, the thief confidently removed the painting from its wall mounts, slipping into a nearby stairwell where he worked quickly with a screwdriver to separate the wooden panel from its protective frame. After wrapping the priceless artwork in a white cloth, he headed directly toward the nearest exit. When he found the door locked, fate intervened in his favor. A plumber named Sauvet, who was working on the museum's water system, encountered the man and, assuming him to be a fellow employee, helpfully unlocked the door. With that unwitting assistance, the thief walked out of the Louvre with the Mona Lisa tucked beneath his white worker's smock. The entire operation had taken less than 30 minutes. Astonishingly, the absence of the painting went unnoticed for more than a day. The museum was in the midst of a comprehensive photographic documentation project, and it wasn't unusual for paintings to be temporarily removed for this purpose. Only when the photographers arrived the following day expecting to find the Mona Lisa did alarm bells begin to ring. By Tuesday afternoon, the horrible truth had become clear. The Mona Lisa was gone. The response was immediate and unprecedented. French authorities closed the national borders, stationed guards around the Louvre, and launched what would become one of the most extensive police investigations in French history. When news broke internationally that the Mona Lisa had been stolen, it created a media sensation unlike anything seen before in the art world. The police had precious little to go on. Their only physical evidence was the abandoned wooden frame and a single fingerprint left on the glass that had once protected the masterpiece. Desperate for leads, French newspapers offered substantial rewards, equivalent to about $250,000 in today's currency, for any information that might help recover the painting. The public response was overwhelming, with thousands of tips flooding police stations across France and beyond. Witnesses came forward with contradictory accounts. One described seeing a man leaving the Louvre with a bulky package. Another claimed to have spotted the painting on a freight train heading through Belgium. Yet another insisted it was already on a ship bound for America. Police pursued each lead methodically, but every trail went cold. The investigation soon took an unexpected turn toward the avant-garde art world. A secretary who had previously worked with Pablo Picasso contacted authorities with a surprising claim. He alleged that Picasso had purchased stolen Iberian statues from the Louvre years earlier. While seemingly unrelated to the Mona Lisa theft, police seized the opportunity to interrogate the famous Spanish artist. After verifying that certain statues in Picasso's possession did indeed match missing inventory from the museum, authorities arrested and questioned him extensively. Though Picasso was eventually cleared of any involvement in the Mona Lisa heist, the incident remained a source of embarrassment for the artist throughout his life. American financial titan J.P. Morgan also fell under suspicion. Investigators theorized that the wealthy banker and avid art collector might have commissioned the theft. With art forgery flourishing as an industry, some believed Morgan had paid for the heist to acquire the original while forgers created convincing replicas to sell to other collectors. Following this lead, American authorities even searched ships arriving in New York Harbor, but found nothing. For 2 long years, the world's most extensive art hunt continued without success. The Mona Lisa had seemingly vanished without a trace. All the while, Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece had barely traveled at all. It rested in a simple trunk with a false bottom, hidden in a modest apartment just 2 miles from the Louvre. The thief was Vincenzo Peruggia, a 29-year-old Italian immigrant who had briefly worked as a handyman at the museum. His intimate knowledge of the Louvre's operations had made the theft possible. He knew the museum's closure schedule, the ongoing photography project, and most crucially, he had personally helped install the protective glass case that had once housed the Mona Lisa, the very case he had so easily dismantled during the theft. How had he evaded capture for so long? By extraordinary coincidence, although Peruggia had a criminal record and his fingerprints were on file with French authorities, only impressions of his right hand had been recorded. The fingerprint found at the scene belonged to his left hand, preventing a match from being made. Even more remarkably, police had twice visited Peruggia's apartment during their investigation, but failed to discover the masterpiece hidden there. The world's most wanted painting had been hiding in plain sight, just a short walk from where it had been stolen. After 2 years of successfully concealing his crime, Peruggia grew restless. His original motive, which he later claimed was patriotic, returning the painting to its rightful home, in Italy, demanded completion. Leonardo da Vinci had, after all, painted the Mona Lisa in Florence, though the artist had himself brought the painting to France where it had remained since his death. In December 1913, Peruggia wrote to Alfredo Geri, an art dealer in Florence, using the pseudonym Leonardo. In his letter, he claimed to possess the Mona Lisa and expressed his desire to return it to Italy. Soon after, he traveled to Florence with the painting. Geri, accompanied by Giovanni Paggi, director of the Uffizi Gallery, agreed to meet Peruggia in his hotel room. When Peruggia revealed the painting from its hiding place in his trunk, the men were astonished to find themselves standing before the authentic Mona Lisa. They convinced Peruggia to let them take the painting for authentication, promising him a significant reward for his patriotic deed. Instead, they immediately contacted the authorities. Hours later, police arrested Peruggia at his hotel. The 2-year mystery had finally been solved. Peruggia's trial revealed the extraordinary simplicity of his crime. Far from being a mastermind, he had simply seized an opportunity created by the Louvre's lax security. For his crime, he served just 7 months in prison, with the court showing leniency due to his apparent patriotic motive. The painting toured Italy briefly before being returned to France amid great fanfare. When it was rehung in the Louvre in 1914, enormous crowds gathered to glimpse the now infamous painting. The theft had transformed the Mona Lisa from a well-regarded Renaissance portrait into the world's most famous painting, a status it retains to this day. While Peruggia's capture seemed to close the case, a tantalizing alternative theory emerged decades later. In 1932, journalist Carl Decker published an account claiming to reveal a much larger plot behind the theft. According to Decker, the true mastermind was an Argentine con man named Eduardo de Valfierno, who had orchestrated an elaborate scheme. Valfierno had allegedly commissioned a master forger to create 6 perfect copies of the Mona Lisa, which he then arranged to sell to 6 wealthy American collectors. To convince these buyers of the authenticity of their purchases, the Real painting needed to disappear from the Louvre, hence Peruggia's recruitment. Once news of the theft spread worldwide, Valfierno reportedly sold all 6 forgeries, each buyer believing they alone possessed the stolen original. Under this theory, Peruggia was merely a pawn who was never meant to attempt returning the painting to Italy, a move that ultimately exposed the entire operation. While this sensational account has never been conclusively proven or disproven, it continues to intrigue historians and adds yet another layer of mystique to what remains history's most famous art heist. The theft of the Mona Lisa stands as a testament to how a single audacious act can transform not only the fate of an artwork, but also its place in cultural history. Leonardo's enigmatic portrait, with its mysterious smile, now carries an additional layer of intrigue. the story of its disappearance and remarkable recovery. Today, protected behind bulletproof glass and constantly surrounded by crowds of visitors, the Mona Lisa's security is a far cry from the simple hooks that once held it to the wall of the Salon Care. The legacy of Vincenzo Peruggia's daring theft lives on in the extraordinary measures now taken to protect the world's most famous smile. Want more historical adventures? If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's most audacious heists, there's plenty more where that came from. Subscribe to Information Rewind for weekly journeys through history's most fascinating events, mysteries, and untold stories. From daring heists to unsolved historical enigmas, each video brings the past vividly to life through meticulous research and compelling storytelling. Don't miss our next adventure. Hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and join our community of history enthusiasts. Leave a comment letting us know which historical mystery you'd like us to unravel next. Remember, history isn't just about dates and facts, it's about the incredible stories that shaped our world. See you on the next great adventure through time, only on Information Rewind.